Welcome to another episode of TTS Today. On today's episode, we are going to show you a feature upgrade on our EDI communication protocols that are used with inside the tow. So this is going to actually improve the ability to send files and receive files from the manufacturer using what's known as a FTP protocol that some people have been using, and then they've been using a third-party software called FileZilla, which I will show real quick. Let's move over to what does FTP stand for? So FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol, and as the name implies, it is a way of transferring files between computers. It is also one of those wonderful computer terms that's both a noun and a verb. As a noun, FTP is the name for a method of sending files, but also the name of the program that actually sends the files. So the manufacturer, please send me a file using FTP. This is something that we've worked out with them, and we're using this particular protocol. And as a verb, FTP means to send a file or receive a file. The proper replacement is the word send or fetch. So the tow basically is doing that. It's the verb portion of the definition. It is sending these files and as well as fetching these files from the manufacturer. So currently, any user that has to communicate with a vendor via EDI will use this program, which is FileZilla, and it requires a couple extra steps. You have to download a file from the tow, drag it to the manufacturer's FTP site, and vice versa. As you can see in this example, we have these in files, and we have to take these, drag them down to our computer, and then upload them into the tow. So what our new upgrade is going to do is going to eliminate FTP using FileZilla. It's going to eliminate the need to take a file from your computer and transfer it physically, copy and paste, and that's how this program works. You just drag and drop to a manufacturer's FTP site. And in files, which are files from the manufacturer, this new upgrade is going to eliminate the need to take these files and bring them down to your computer and then search for them in the tow and get them up into the order entry so you can create an order for that. So the next steps we're going to do is I'm going to show you the process, which is real simple. We're actually eliminating a step, so it's one less thing we're doing to get this thing to work. So I'll see you on the next screen, and I'm going to show you the setup and also what is involved in FTPing to and from a manufacturer. Okay, so from the vendor manage screen is where we're going to set up the FTP credentials, sign-in information for your vendor. So I just wanted to show you an example. You do not see this yet on the live site. This is going to go live soon, but I'm going to choose Arlington as our test vendor. Okay. And down at the bottom, we have our vendor FTP. This is basically the same information that we've added to users of FileZilla, all the credentials to log in. We have a host name, which is the address to get to that FTP site. We have the username, user password, as well as the location of the in and out files. The manufacturer's FTP site requires this information, so this program knows what to do. So once this is set up, again, this eliminates the need for FileZilla. The tow will know where to get these files and where to send these files without any user intervention whatsoever. So the next screen that I'm going to go to is going to be the inbound side. We're going to actually receive files from the manufacturer. Now, not all manufacturers have a two-way communication. Some just have an outbound, which most of you are familiar with. That would create the .out file or a PDF, for instance. Those remain the same, by the way. This is an optional feature if you still want to continue to use FileZilla, even though we don't recommend that because it saves you a lot of extra steps in communicating with the manufacturer. We have the ability, and by the way, you see here, disable FTP. We could turn this off, and that will convert back to the old FileZilla method. If your manufacturer doesn't require an FTP communication, it'll work the same exact way. This is really just for communicating using FTP the way that we've done it through FileZilla. So the next screen is going to be receiving an inbound and creating an order out of it. So see you there. Okay, so under the Order tab, we have Import Vendor Order File. So this is where we're going to grab the inbound. And if you remember on the FileZilla, there was this screen right here, and this is kind of what it looks like. Through FileZilla is exactly what it looks like. So these are the inbound files, and normally I would just drag these over. So now we've incorporated that into the tow. So I am going to use one of the vendors we have set up for FTP. And you'll notice what pops up is a similar screen, and this is actually all the files that were in the FileZilla side, located right embedded inside the tow. So now, as an example, I just want to show you what happens when you click on some of these. So we can actually click on the actual file, and what it does is it downloads the raw data. Many of you may have seen this. That is the raw data in its text format. We don't want to have to deal with that. So I'm going to click on this arrow, which would be the import. By the way, to the right, we have the ability to delete. I'm going to click on here. Now, right now, as you know, tow requires, based on the United States database, United States Postal Service database, a correct city-state combination, or else it will not, allow you to import this. So in this example, we're noticing that right here, it gives you the ability to import or change the city. Now, in this case, I know it's Laval, so I'm going to go into Edit City and start typing in. This is the same thing that you would have to do on the normal FTP, but we've built all this in now directly in the tow. So Laval, Quebec is the correct one. I'm going to apply that. It makes a change to the file. And at this point, what we used to have to do is have to save the file, and then we had to drag it over FileZilla. Now, we could just hit Import File, and it will tell you vendor order number 9782 already exists. We actually did this one, so I'm going to show you one that works. So it's not going to double enter an order. Okay, let's show you how the import process works. So I'm going to choose this file here, no errors. Click on import. And what will happen is our inbound file was imported successfully. New order 1003. The following pre-existing customer PO. So it will warn you if you have the same PO assigned to an order, but it will allow you to import. So let's look for 1003 in the order manager screen. And right at the top, just get it filtered out. And notice the pending status is pending release because it just was imported. So at this point, it's just like receiving any other file or entering an order, but the import process allows you to enter it automatically. So you would go into the order, and you'll notice a couple things that actually will assign the number 1003. It tells you that it was electronically received. There are trailing notes. You can make changes in here. It shows you the order items. And then at this point, I would go through the same steps that I do for creating orders. Okay, the last step is to create an order and have the system send it to the manufacturer. I've gone ahead and I've added a part, and at this point you would create release just like you do your normal order. You should see this one at the top of the manager screen. Here we go. TTS Today EDI pending verification. So I'm going to verify this order. And now it's ready to communicate. As you know, there are two ways to communicate the file. You can do it batch mode, which is from here. So all I can do is click here, click communicate. and you will get a pop-up. This is something new that we've introduced. It works for all types of communication. Here we'll tell you successfully sent the file, and it gives you the name of the file, which is a date code, successfully uploaded and archived. FTP is the method. It tells you the order number. Now on the right here we have the ability to print this, so we can print it to a PDF, for instance, and save this file. And we can save it in downloads. That's fine. And we close. So this is a way of keeping track of all your FTP orders. And then you notice the status has changed 1 of 1. Second way of communicating an order is through the release screen. Click on release, click on communicate. You get the same pop-up. So in this way, you can communicate one file at a time. The outside of the release screen, you're going to communicate in batch mode, so you can select multiple files, but you'll get the same results, which you'll have their status report on there. And there you have it, the new FTP setup built into the tow. That helps you eliminate the need for downloading files, copying and pasting, drag and dropping files to FTP them to your manufacturers. Please contact us and we will help you set this up. So we'll make your FTP communications life a lot easier. See you in the next one.